The journey of 3 Russian girls from Moscow to Alaska was one filled with danger and adventure. Their story began with a dream to explore the rugged terrain and vast wilderness of North America. They had saved for years, meticulously planning every detail of their journey. Little did they know that their dream would turn into a nightmare. The journey started off smoothly enough. The girls, named Yana, Natasha, and Svetlana, boarded a plane in Moscow and headed for Anchorage, Alaska. They had planned to spend a few days in the city, soaking in the local culture and preparing for their trek into the wilderness. As they landed in Anchorage, they were struck by the beauty of the snow-capped mountains and the vast expanses of untouched wilderness. They spent their first day exploring the city, visiting local shops and sampling the local cuisine. But as the night drew in, they realized they had made a grave mistake. They had booked their stay in a remote cabin, miles away from civilization, with no cell phone coverage and no means of communication. They knew they had to get out of there, but it was too late. The storm had already started, and the roads were closed. The next few days were a blur of snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. The girls huddled together for warmth, rationing their food and water as they waited for the storm to pass. But it didn't. Day turned into night, and the snow kept falling. On the 4th day, they knew they had to take action. They couldn't stay there forever, and they were running low on supplies. They decided to try to make it to the nearest town, despite the treacherous conditions. They set out early in the morning, bundled up in their warmest clothes, and carrying only the essentials. The wind was howling, and the snow was waist-deep, making it impossible to see more than a few feet in front of them. They trudged on, hour after hour, until they reached a river. The river was frozen solid, and they decided to cross it on foot. But halfway across, they heard a loud crack, and the ice beneath them gave way. Yana and Svetlana managed to grab onto a piece of ice and pull themselves to safety, but Natasha was swept away by the current. They searched for hours, calling out her name, but there was no sign of her. They had lost one of their own, and they were still miles away from safety. They pressed on, driven by the sheer force of will, until they finally saw the lights of a small town in the distance. But as they approached, they realized that something was very wrong. The streets were empty, and the buildings were all boarded up. As they entered the town, they saw a terrifying sight. Bodies were lying in the streets, frozen solid, their faces twisted in agony. They had stumbled upon a town that had been wiped out by a deadly virus. They knew they had to get out of there, but they were trapped. The roads were blocked, and they had no means of communication. They were stuck in a town filled with death and despair. Days turned into weeks, and they struggled to survive in a town that was slowly freezing to death. They scavenged for food and water, hoping against hope that they would find a way out. But there was no escape. In the end, they were rescued by a passing helicopter, but the trauma of their journey stayed with them forever. They had lost one of their own, and they had witnessed the horrors of a deadly virus. But they had also discovered the true meaning of survival and the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Their journey may have been deadly, but it was also a testament to their courage and resilience. As they returned to Moscow, they were changed forever. They had faced death and come out on the other side, and they knew that they could handle anything life threw their way. They had also gained a new appreciation for the beauty and fragility of life, and they vowed to never take it for granted again. Their journey had been filled with danger and tragedy, but it had also been a journey of self-discovery and growth. They had faced their fears and come out stronger for it. They had seen the darkness, but they had also seen the light. Years later, they would look back on their journey with both fear and awe, knowing that they had been through something few people ever experience. They would tell their story to others, inspiring them to face their own fears and to never give up hope, no matter how dire a circumstances. In the end, their journey had been more than just a deadly travel story. It had been a life-changing experience that would stay with them forever. And they knew that, no matter what the future held, they would always carry the lessons they had learned on that fateful journey with them.